with CK Helms, Zach Bandit, Ryan Mullins, and Jeremiah Elliott.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 35 of the Good Stuff Podcast, brought to you by Blind Bandit Productions. Each and every episode of the Good Stuff Podcast is brought to you by Blind Bandit Productions. To find more about us, go to facebook.com/Blind Bandit Productions. I am CK Helms.
I'm Zach Bandito.
I'm Ryan Mullins.
And Jeremiah. Yeah, Jeremiah's not here this week because he is off doing some other things. So yeah, I would say normally when he's not here is doing the firefighter thing, but he's doing the movie theater thing today.
Yeah. Can I just be can I pretend to be Jeremiah today?
No, you can't be as good as Jeremiah as he was as you.
Wow. Why do you doubt my acting abilities so bad?
I'm not down in your acting abilities. I'm down in your impersonation skills. That's it. Totally different. Totally different.
I can be Jeremiah. Blah, 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 firefighting.
What?
Jeremiah is the most interesting part of the show.
Hey guys, so whenever I was doing fireman stuff, I was approached by this drug addict. Oh.
Okay, you're done. Anyways, guys, let's get Let's get into the show. So we're gonna start the show off with our opener, as always. And on the opener, we talk about something that's more opinionated than just talking about a news thing. And well, just to let you know ahead of time, in case you haven't heard, Sony and Disney kind of ended their partnership with Spider-Man, and we're going to talk more about that in particular at the end of the show here. But with the opener,
in Pacific,
yeah, specifically, what we're talking about in this opener is there's people wanting to boycott Sony over this, and they're also wanting to boycott PS4 over it as well, because Sony makes PS4, and I don't know what it has to do with Sony Pictures. I mean, so I guess whatever. And so basically, we're really going to talk about what is your opinion on this? Do you want to boycott Sony and PS4? Do you think that's stupid? Do you think boycotts even matter or worth anything or that? And then after we're done with that, we're going to talk about our top 5 superhero games, because why not? But let's start with Zach. What are you thinking, man?
About the boycott.
Yes.
Oh, I might.
What?
We'll come back. We'll come back to you.
Okay.
Does that work for you? We'll come back?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'll talk about it a little bit. So anyway, I don't really care about boycotts. I mean, I jokingly have said stuff about boycott before, but I mean, not something I'm deliberately not going to boycott. Let me try to think of a boycott that was. You remember, like, several years ago, the whole Chick-fil-A debacle with the gay people thing, and everybody wanted to boycott Chick-fil-A because they didn't support gay people or whatever. And I was like, I mean, I support gay people, but I'm not going to boycott Chick-fil-A, guys, because the chicken sandwiches are delicious. So, I'm not going to do that. And just in the same thing, I'm not going to boycott Sony over this. I think it's dumb to just deliberately boycott a company because of the decision. For one, Zombieland 2 is made by Sony, so I mean, I'm watching Zombieland 2. But what the dumbest part of this was people wanting to boycott PS4. Now, y'all guys are just on crack or something, because I ain't giving up my PS4. I play that thing religiously. I mean, almost every day. I'm not gonna stop playing PS4 because they couldn't work out a partnership with Disney. I mean, it's just not something I'm gonna do. For one, it's really like two different companies in a sense, because Sony Pictures has nothing to do with the video games. They have nothing to do with the PS4 games, you know? So it's like two different groups, and you're taking one person's actions out on someone else, which makes no sense.
And the way people see it, though, is they just see that big title of Sony. But the thing is that nobody even waited for Sony to give an official statement, or anyone from the Lee family to give an official statement. And both of those have happened, in the past 24 hours now, but nobody even cared to like look at that and figure out like who's at fault here. Everybody's just upset that Spider-Man's not in the MCU. And according to what, everything that I've read, Sony is like, look, we tried, it's not us that's being unreasonable. It's Disney. Disney wants a 50-50 cut instead of the original agreement, which was the 5% off of first day earnings. And Disney's not putting that much money into the film. But in the end, Sony's official thing was that it's just Kevin Feige has too much on his plate, and he's not going to be able to have as much of a influence in the next Spider-Man movie that he had in Spider-Man 1 and 2.
Yeah, I mean, I want to talk more about that, but I want to go on that because I feel like I have an opinion on that, but I want to save that to the end there. So trying to bring it back to the boycott here. Yeah, just trying to focus much on the boycott because I don't want to get too much into the actual thing because I want to talk more about that at the end of the show.
Hurting Sony PS4 is not going to affect Sony Pictures at all. It's two separate entities. They're under an umbrella company.
Right. I mean, there's also Sony TVs out there, Sony radios. I mean, Sony, whatever, Sony Blu-ray players. I mean, they make all types of electronics too. I mean, Sony does all kinds of different stuff. I mean, it's a wide branching company. They're not just, I mean, you think there's different aspects, and those people, they're basically separate companies. They're just fall under a corporation of Sony. Yeah. But as far as Sony Pictures is like its own company, Sony the PlayStation is its own company, Sony the electronics is its own company, and people don't realize that. But like you said, they just take that Sony name and that's what they see. They don't. But yeah. I mean, a lot of people aren't going to like look into stuff as much as we do or stuff like that.
I mean, sure, the fans could back Sony into a corner where they wind up making some sort of deal with Disney again. Where Sony suffers because of the fans. But the fans, like I said, it's the fans are not upset because they know what happened. They're upset because Spider-Man's not in the MCU if this continues, which is understandable why fans are upset. I'm upset about it. But at the same time, I can't be mad at Sony because, Disney's being unreasonable.
And it's really also bad to boycott Sony Pictures, though, at the same time. Well, because one, the other movies they're making has nothing to do with Spider-Man. I mean, those people, like, let's take Zombieland 2. Those those people have nothing to do with the Spider-Man stuff. I mean, they're different directors, different actors and stuff. They have nothing to do. But so you want to boycott their film because of some other junk? I mean, that's stupid.
Yeah.
And also,
Other
even
actors don't deserve to be punished over this.
even if they don't make a deal and the next Spider-Man movie comes out, you watch the other two Spider-Man movies. You were a fan. You like the storyline that's going on. You shouldn't go see the third movie because Tom Holland signed on for another one, and they're gonna renegotiate his contract to get him try to sign on for a fourth one as well. So you shouldn't not go see the movies just because Tom Holland's still playing Spider-Man. Like, I mean, you're on that. You shouldn't go see it just because you're boycotting Sony. That's not fair to Tom. You know,
Yeah.
he's literally just a kid in a divorce. Is what this is. He's literally, his parents are getting divorced, and now we're choosing sides over it. That's what you're doing. You're boycotting. So he's like, oh, no, you're going with your mom? Well, guess what? We're not going to see your mom's film now. And Tom's like, why? My mom, she's cool. But I mean, why not watch his mom's film? That's not nice.
Now, Tom Holland, because of his contract, he has a non-disclosure thing in his contract, so he can't talk about what's going on at all.
Yeah, he's made like 2 posts on social media since then, and they have nothing to do with. They're just like random stuff. They have nothing to do with the situation.
But he did do one thing that fans have noticed, and on Instagram, he unfollowed Sony pictures.
Yeah, who knows what that was? That could have been done. That could have been done before that, though.
No, it was done that day. People were tracking it.
Yeah, who knows though? Because I don't see Tom Holland actually running his stuff though.
Yeah. You mean him actually being his own social media moderator? Yeah. There's a chance, that he personally had nothing to do with it.
Because I feel like for one, he doesn't ever keep his mouth closed. So I feel like if that was happening, it had nothing to do with him.
He was quoted as saying a long time ago, I think it was 2017, he was in an interview, and he said that he would do anything to keep his ticket to be part of the MCU.
Right, yeah.
So you never know. Until he actually makes a statement, nobody knows where he stands on this whole thing.
Yeah. Zach, you want to add any more to this boycott stuff? We'll talk more about this later on in the show, guys. If you stick with us here at the end, about an hour or so, we're going to get back into this Sony and Disney thing because try to keep us on track. Just a boycott. You want to add anything to this, Zach?
Yeah, I mean, not too much. I'm not really a big fan of boycotts. Like, I don't boycott things. Like, I mean, maybe people, but even if they're, I guess if they're in a film, like, I'm not gonna boycott films. If you get what I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
If a person has done shitty stuff.
You mean like Kevin Spacey?
I mean, Kevin Spacey's a piece of shit, but like if he's directing something and I like the film, I'm not gonna like boycott the film. You know what I mean?
Now, see, I'm a little different on it. I'm not gonna boycott the film, but I'm also not gonna go see it. You know, I am one of those people that if I have somebody that I just objectively disagree with, I'm not going to do anything to put money in their pocket.
I'm kind of like in between. It would have to be like a really like shitty thing, you know, like
Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, like some shitty stuff like that. Like I would probably not watch something. I'm not going to like boycott it, and because when people boycott stuff, they try to get other people to follow through and stuff, and talk bad about them on social media and stuff like that. That's not. I'm not going to do that. But I probably wouldn't see the next thing that Kevin Spacey did.
The thing is, though, if you're not hurting the actors or the directors on the film because they've already been paid. They're not going to get paid anymore. So you're just the only people that are getting paid are like everyone but them, pretty much.
Yeah, unless you have an actor who is like Robert Downey Jr., where their agreement involves payment after the fact, you're not hurting the actor.
Right, residuals.
Well, yeah, because they get paid up front.
Yeah.
Actors make deals. They get 25% up front, 25% when whenever they have wrapped up, and they make the other 50% after like a few days before the release.
Yeah, but most of the time, though, whenever, depending on if it's a really bad situation, odds are that person doesn't do anything else for a really long time. Like, because, I mean, has Kevin Spacey even done any, like, going on this first example, he hasn't done anything since they removed him from House of Cards, right?
He had a movie that came out because it had already been filmed, but like it crashed and burned in the box office.
Is that? I mean, as far as filming something new, Zach, has he done that?
No.
No, I don't believe so, but I'm pretty sure his career is over. So
Yeah. So, see, that's what I was saying. If it's bad enough, Hollywood's going to erase the people that we don't have to deal with it.
Yeah. The only thing he's done that even resembled acting since like everything finally went through was he recorded a video in the character in the style of the character from House of Cards, YouTube, and it was like a weird video, him talking about I'm not done and all this other kind of stuff, and like I think he removed it from YouTube because people were like, "This is really weird. You're talking about getting your revenge, and like people are getting their revenge on you for the terrible things you did." So like his people made him remove it and stuff, but he has not done any paid acting stuff since then.
Cool. All right, guys. So going on with this opener, on the opener, we do a top 5 list here, and this week, since the PS4 boycotting thing really stuck out to me, and also talk about Spider-Man and stuff, I figure we'll do the top 5 superhero games this week. So Ryan, as always, I'm gonna start with you. Go ahead and give us your top 5 list for top 5 superhero games.
Number 5 is Superman for the Nintendo 64.
Wow.
that was a
I'm kidding. That is the number 1 rated worst superhero video game.
At first, I was like, "Is this dude kidding? Like, what? I hope he is."
My number 5 it was on the original Xbox, and it is the Spider-Man and Venom video game. I can't remember the title of it, but it was the first time.
Yeah, it was like Ultimate Spider-Man, wasn't it?
It was Ultimate Spider-Man, and it was the first time you got to play as Venom in any video game other than Marvel versus Capcom, and the stylized ways that they had Venom leaping buildings and stuff like that, it was just so awesome. It had a really good storyline. It was a much different storyline than we're used to about, of course, because it followed Ultimate. We're used to with the Eddie Brock and Peter Parker relationship, but it was a really good storyline, really good voice acting, and I believe that it's one of the highest rated Marvel video games.
That was a good game. I forgot about that. That was a good game. I had that game.
Okay. Number 4 for me is in the Injustice, the original Injustice. I know you and I put a lot of time into playing against each other on that, Nick. It was a really good take on the series. It was also a really good take on the fighting genre video games. And I know you're still a huge fan of the Injustice video games. Number 3 on my list of superhero games. I'm gonna group these all together so that way I don't use up all of my spots. But I'm gonna say the Arkham video game series. Super in-depth details of Batman. You get to hear storylines that you don't normally get to see played out in the cartoons and movies. And it was just in general a really good storyline. It takes a very long time to play all 3 of the games, but it is definitely worth the time into it with the storyline that they developed for that, and the of course, got to give credit where credit's due. The voice actors were amazing in this game series. Number 2 for me, and some people are going to say they're not superheroes, but anyways, I'm going to say they are. There was a Dragon Ball Z fighter game. Started with a B.
Budokai.
Budokai was so much fun. I've had a lot of fun playing that game with friends and stuff. I gotta sneak. And my number 1 superhero based video game is right now is Spider-Man for the PS4. That game is a lot of fun, and they keep releasing new content. Man, it's been out for almost over a year now. But they give out free content to that video game all the time, and it's a really good storyline. It's of course, obviously, it's not the same story from any of the Spider-Man movies, but it's still a good storyline just all on its own.
Cool.
Right now, my number 1 is definitely the Sony PS4 Spider-Man.
Yeah, Sony's PS4.
Oh yeah.
All right. So I'll get mine out. So number 5 for me, I'm gonna group both of these together as well. It's the Batman Telltale series. Telltale, R.I.P. They've made some great games and made some great franchises. Have some excellent games, and what they did with the Batman series was so awesome. And I liked the different direction they went with the Batman and Joker relationship, which played out more in the second game. It was such a good game, and I like the different takes on some of the characters, like Penguin and stuff in the first one. It was such a good series, and I really enjoyed it. Number 4 for me was the Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction game that was on the original Xbox. It was so cool. It was like a mixture of like a fighting game, and it was like it had wall running. It was like Assassin's Creed like, but as Incredible Hulk, you like ran on the wall and stuff. You just got to blow up anything, destroy anything, and really cool. You could tear apart a taxi and use both sides as like boxing gloves, basically, for Hulk. It was an awesome game. I really enjoyed that game. I had forgot about that game for a while. Number 3 for me would be Injustice 2. As Ryan said, I'm a huge fan of the Injustice series. I'm going back and reading through all the comic books right now. But Injustice 2 took everything that the first Injustice game did and just improved it more. NetherRealm, they did an excellent job. They're the people that make Mortal Kombat, and they made the Injustice game, and now they're making Mortal Kombat then Injustice game. So obviously we'll probably Mortal Kombat 11 is already out, so we're probably going to be getting Injustice 3 next year or the year after that, and so I can't wait to play more because I love the different takes on the characters that we're getting. Storyline is so good, and plus it's a good fighting game. Number 2 for me would be Spider-Man PS4. Ryan said enough about it. It's an excellent game. It's amazing. It's spectacular even, and the storyline is superb, and I really love it, and it's probably one of the best Spider-Man stories that you can get, and it's in a video game form. So yeah. Number 1 for me I'm going to group these all together as well, like Ryan did. Number 1 for me, though, it's the Batman Arkham games. I think when Batman Arkham Asylum came out, it set a precedent for superhero games. It showed everything that had done wrong before it, and it had left a legacy for games after it to follow up to, which I don't think that anything has, well, Arkham, besides Arkham City and stuff, I don't think games have yet reached that level yet. Spider-Man PS4 is about almost the same level, but the Batman Arkham games I still think stand a little step above that. Great storyline, great gameplay. I really don't see, I don't really know any flaws from those games, and I just love them all. And, so that's my list.
All right, Jeremiah, go ahead.
Well, number 5 for me is.
Well, technically, he would have went after Ryan. So
Anyway, my number 5 is, I know he's technically not like a superhero, but I chose the Punisher for the Xbox, the original Xbox.
That was a good.
It was like, it was so good. Like you had like different kills you could do and all this. Like you could use the environment. You could, like, I remember taking this guy's head and shoving it into a piranha tank, and it just ripped his head apart. And yeah, I mean, it was really like true to the Punisher character. It had the nice gore that you want from a Punisher like game or whatever. But yeah, I kind of hope they would like make a new one, really, because like a Punisher in like today's graphics with that kind of gore, I think would be amazing. And then number 4, Marvel Ultimate Alliance. I always thought it was pretty cool. I tried to choose between X-Men Legends and Marvel Ultimate Alliance. They're kind of the same, but chose Marvel Ultimate Alliance because it pretty much brings all those superheroes together and can pretty much create like your own dream team of superheroes. And so that's one of the main reasons I probably want to switch, is because the Switch is Nintendo exclusive, which sucks. But and then my number 3 is Arkham Asylum. I didn't really play any of the other Arkham games, so but like you guys are saying, like the details in that game and the voice acting, like in the story, was just really good. And then number 2, kind of a superhero game. I guess you could choose to be a superhero, but it's Infamous, which was kind of like the first of its kind for a superhero game, really, because you could like choose to be bad or good. You could help people, you could hurt people, and like depending on what you do, like you can, like if you're bad, you can get bad powers, or if you're good, you can get like good powers. But I always thought that was a good game. And then number 1, of course, is Spider-Man for me. Like just the story and everything. Like I'm kind of glad like all the other Spider-Mans in recent memory have been kind of loosely based off the film that's come out with it. So it's kind of nice to have like an original story, sort of, where it's not like based off anything that's like it's not based off like Tom Holland's Spider-Man or whatever. That's my number one. And then I do actually have an honorable mention because I was gonna put this in my top 5, which is the Hulk Ultimate Destruction, which was a really fun game. I don't even remember if it had a storyline or anything. I just remember like throwing cars at things and stuff.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember the storyline from the game. All I just remember is the gameplay itself.
I don't remember if there were cutscenes or anything. Like I just remember going around and just throwing shit.
It's like being the Hulk without actually having to be the Hulk.
Yeah. But it'd be cool if they did a new one though.
There was I don't know if I want to call it an honorable mention, but it is definitely it's definitely a staple to the superhero games. It was the first of its kind and all that other. I can't remember the name of the title, but it came out opening day alongside the launch of the original Xbox. It was one of the opening titles, and it was a Batman, the original Xbox. But it didn't do crazy good in sales whenever it came out, but it was the first time that you got to play as Batman in a 3D environment. And
I think I played that actually.
Yeah, and it opened the doors to a lot of new stuff because
Was it Batman Vengeance?
it might have been.
Well, because there was like 2 Xbox ones. There was Batman Vengeance and then like Batman like Legend of Sun Tzu or something like this.
It might have been Legend of Sun Tzu. Gosh, I can't remember. I remember playing it, but it was opening day of the original Xbox. It was a launch title, but I'm trying to remember the name of it. But it was actually a really good game. I just don't remember a lot of the details about it because it's been so long since I played it.
Yeah. And if I had to throw an honorable mention, it would be the Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, because it had villains in it with the good guys. It had the Thunderbolts, and you got to be Venom and Sandman and shit, and Green Goblin and stuff. You could have those people on your team too.
The premise of the Ultimate Alliance games is a really good premise, but I get immensely bored with hack and slash.
I get you.
I didn't.
Was it? There's Batman Dark Tomorrow.
That might have been it.
Oh yeah, that one too. I forget about that. Who knows? All right, well, let's move on. If you find it, you can bring it up in a minute.
Okay.
We're going to move into releases. I didn't really see any movies that I really cared about. The only video game that I saw, though, and that was a video game called Control, coming out on the PS4 and Xbox One next Tuesday, August the 27th. I don't really know too much about the game. I know it's made by Remedy Games, who made Quantum. What's that stupid game that came out? Crap. I knew what it was. Quantum something.
Quantum Edge?
No, it's Quantum something. Crap. I totally lost it. Anyway, Quantum Break. I think that's it. I don't know. I can't remember now. I knew it. But they made that Quantum game that came out a couple years ago where you could control time and stuff.
Quantum Break, yeah.
It is Quantum Break, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what they had, was it Sean Ashmore was the main character in it? Or, yeah. And anyway, this Control game, it's kind of, I guess it could really be like a superhero type game in the like a prototype sense or infamous sense, because your character has telekinesis.
Mm-hmm.
And So I haven't seen too much on the game. Has any of you two?
Yeah. It's so all I got to really I could tell, yeah, Sean Ashmore plays the main character, and then Aiden, can't remember his name, the dude that played Littlefinger in Game of Thrones. He's playing the bad guy. But yeah, it was just like it from what I could see, you can freeze time, move
Yeah,
at
that's in
high
Quantum
speed.
Break. Yeah, I'm talking
Huh?
about that was Quantum Break. I'm talking about the Control game.
I haven't seen much of Control.
Yeah, the Control game. I know that your main character has telekinesis powers. I know IGN's doing a lot of coverage on it, but I haven't really checked much into it because it's not the game I haven't heard a whole lot about it anyways. So it's not like one of my anticipated games of this year, so I kind of like glazed over it. But I know that Quantum Break was a really good game. I didn't finish it all the way through because I sold my Xbox before I finished it. But Remedy Games they're making Control, so I figured that Control will be a good game. So at least worth checking out. I don't know if they'll have a demo of it or something that you can try out. If not, maybe hit up the red box for it when it goes in. Play it, check it out.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay, no, I have seen it. Yeah, it's because I was yeah, it's built on their Northlight engine. That's why I was looking at it, because I was trying to figure out more about their new gaming engine. It's yeah, that one, Control, dude. Yeah, it looked really intense. Like the gameplay looks like it's going to be like super difficult throughout the whole thing, just because there's so much going on in every action scene of the thing.
Yeah.
But
I think it's going to get lost in the shuffle, though. I think it's going to get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those games that, like, I don't think it's going to get promoted as well as it should, and it won't get as many people buying it as who would really want to play it, because they're just not going to know about it.
Yeah, you got a couple things coming out next week, and then September rolls around, and you got some big releases coming in. You got Borderlands 3. So I think that Control is going to get lost in the shuffle. But maybe if you got some downtime right now and you're not into any big games right now, maybe at least worth checking out at Redbox and spending like a day or so with it, or something like that. At least give some time into it. Just see what it's like. Someone play it and then let us know. But that would be definitely my recommendation, because there really ain't nothing at theaters that I saw this weekend that I really cared about, because I don't really care about that Gerard Butler sequel movie coming out. So
oh yeah. I haven't seen any movie trailers that just like absolutely caught my eye.
Yeah. But speaking of trailers, since you mentioned that, let's move into trailers. Is that cool?
Yeah.
The first trailer we're going to talk about here is the movie Underwater with Kristen Stewart. Zach, did you watch this trailer, man?
Good. I mean, it looked interesting, I guess. I guess I'll just need to see more. Don't really know what's going on. I guess I'm assuming they run into some weird creatures, and the only thing that is the name of the movie is called Underwater. It's just, I don't know. Just kind of stupid.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of weird. I was like, this is a weird name. Plus, didn't have Kristen Stewart in it. But I was like, this is literally the only trailer that's released in a week. So I was like, well, we have to talk about it. So I was like, because I don't really have any other trailer to talk about. I was like, so I'll watch it. And then like halfway through, it kind of like went somewhere else. And I was like, well, this is interesting.
Yeah.
It's like aliens underwater or some shit. I was like, is this what this is? It's like this is like aliens underwater, basically is what this is.
It reminded me a lot of the movie and book Sphere. But like it's just like they're at an underwater base, and I don't know what happens if it's like an explosion or something, but they have to pretty much go. They have to evacuate an underwater research base, and whenever they do, they start encountering all kinds of weird creatures underwater while they're trying to resurface and stuff.
Yeah, which we never saw the creatures.
Yeah, it's just
like aliens.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just like you can only have so much entertainment in trying to take a tiny submarine back to the surface.
You know what the best part of the trailer was for me?
What's that?
Kristen Stewart didn't talk much in it. That was the best part of it. I was like, woohoo!
I have never been that big of a. I have never been a big fan of Kristen Stewart. So
I'm a big proponent of anything negative Kristen Stewart. If you don't like Kristen Stewart, I like you more. If you do like Kristen Stewart, I like you less. I don't know. I can't. I don't know. She's just too.
She's bland.
Blah. She's blah. I was gonna say she's blah, but bland's good. Blah. She's blah. She's blah.
It's kind of with Kristen Stewart. It's kind of like getting fried chicken and then taking a nice heavy bite into that fried chicken, only to find out that fried chicken didn't have any spices. It was just flour.
Like your mom made the fried chicken.
And she was trying to make it not too spicy for your little brother.
It's a white people chicken. So
like spaghetti without sauce. It's like ramen noodles without the seasoning. That's short.
All right. I don't know. I kind of want to see more about the movie though. I want to. I'm kind of. When a second trailer comes out, I'm gonna watch the second trailer just to see if I can see more about the movie because it seemed interesting. That second half of the trailer got me interested in it.
I really like T.J. Miller, so.
Oh, I forgot. Is that the dude who plays who's in Silicon Valley and Deadpool?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Weasel.
The man behind the camera in Cloverfield.
Gotcha.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to talk about another trailer real quick, and this didn't come out this week, but it came out at Comic-Con, and we didn't talk about this in last week's show because we had like 7 billion trailers, and I had to like cut down on some. So we're going to talk the Titans Season 2 trailer. Did either of you two actually watch this?
Yes. I have seen the Season 2 trailer.
Okay. Because, I mean, y'all haven't seen the show, Titans Season 1, right?
I am, I have watched the first 2 episodes.
Okay, cool. Need to watch more.
I'm trying to catch up.
All right.
Yeah.
What you think about it?
Oh, I was gonna say I'll let you do it, but it looked like it's they're taking it into some really interesting storylines. It feels like they're taking this to the levels that Young Justice and the original Teen Titans cartoon were trying to get into before they were, given that whole little noose around the neck.
The young it really does have a more of a Young Justice type feel to it.
Yeah.
Because you get more people in this one. You're getting Superboy, and you're getting Aqualad in it, and so I'm really excited about that. A really good part in the trailer was because I mean it showed bits from season 1, and then in season 2, obviously Trigon's going to be beaten really soon because you see bits of Raven and she's got the jewel on her head. So
Yeah.
that's what they trap Trigon in, and how that's the whole jewel on her head is her dad is trapped inside the jewel. So interested to see that. I'm really excited that Deathstroke's going to be in it. That was a cool reveal at the end. A good shot, which I knew was going to be in it, but really cool reveal.
It definitely had me. I'll put it this way. I have been unsure about Titans on the first 2 episodes that I've seen, but seeing the trailer for season 2 has definitely made me interested enough to continue watching.
Yeah. And then that guy from Game of Thrones is playing Bruce Wayne as well.
Which guy from Game of Thrones? I must have missed that.
He's only in the trailer at one time. His name's Ian something.
The Hand of the Queen, the first one. What's his face?
I did not know that.
Yeah, go watch the trailer. Look it up, Bruce Wayne Titans, and you'll see what dude's name. But yeah, Zach. So what you think, Zach?
I guess it was alright. I mean, I never saw the first one or for season 1, so
Yeah.
I guess I should get on that.
You should watch Doom Patrol. Just saying.
Don't tell me.
Don't tell you. Don't tell you what?
I said don't tell me what to do.
Oh, I thought Ryan said don't tell me. I was like, why did Ryan just randomly say don't tell me? I was like, that's freaking weird.
What me?
I was like, okay, I won't tell you, Ryan. Oh, guys. All right, cool. So that's the only trailers we got for you. So we're gonna get in the news, guys. If that's cool with everybody. Don't care if it is. We're moving into news anyway. All right, so the first bit of news we got coming up first is NXT. WWE NXT just announced that they'll be moving to the USA Network as a now 2-hour show starting September 18th. Currently, NXT, which is like the WWE development system in a sense, they film it at Full Sail University, which is a good school. I've heard, Zach. It's
They
in
film
Winter.
And Canada, don't they?
The what now?
They also film in Canada, don't they?
They did at one time. Oh, they do NXT takeovers. Their pay-per-views that they have, they do those at different spots. They've done a NXT Toronto like 2 or 3 times. But the weekly show is done at Full Sail at Winter Park, Florida, the college there, which is Zach's alma mater. And that's what they call that, right? When you go to school, graduate from somewhere, it's called your alma mater.
Yes.
What?
Yes. Just ignores that, and the answer is yes.
Okay, so they're moving to USA because right now it's just you can watch it on the WWE Network and Hulu, and now it's going to be on a network thing. It's also moving from 1 hour to 2 hours, and I'm assuming that it's going to be live now.
I didn't get to see. I didn't see anything where it would say it did not. I did not see anything where it said it would be either live or pre-recorded. So
okay, they had been pre-recorded, because they would record like 4 of them at one time, like a whole month's worth. But I saw that they were giving USA is paying them. They're getting so. USA is where Raw comes on. SmackDown's moving to ESPN on Fox in October. They make like $200-something million from Fox and USA per like Raw. I think they get paid $250 million a year. USA pays WWE. I think Fox is paying $220-something million for SmackDown a year. And USA is paying $50 million a year for Full Sail, for NXT, which they said it will be easy to do the 2-hour show because they're not going on the road. It's all still going to be done at Full Sail.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so with making 50 million, I'm assuming that it's going to be done live.
Okay. Yeah,
Uh,
because they have to pay so much because they have to pay for them to travel to location. So I can understand them cutting their price back quite a bit.
yeah, they won't have to do any travel because it'll all be done still at full. It's still going to be done at Full Sail, but as I said, I think it's going to be moving to the weekly format every Wednesday because it's supposed to compete with AEW starting in October. It's going to be on Wednesdays nights as well, and so NXT is supposed to be like a competitor to that.
Yeah, and for any of the listeners who don't pay attention to wrestling or don't specifically pay attention to NXT, NXT has some really, really good wrestlers. It is like Nick said, it is the project or the training grounds for WWE superstars. Like, you want to be a WWE superstar, you've got to go through this, unless you're just an amazing talent that
Unless your name is AJ Styles.
yeah. Unless you're caught up in something like that where you've been wrestling for years and you have a huge name on a different underground circuit. But there was actually a time whenever NXT, it was all part of the WWE streaming service stuff. NXT for 2 weeks straight had higher viewership than SmackDown on the streaming service, and NXT is actually really good. Some of the characters are cheesy because it's people who are looking to get into wrestling, and they will take whatever character concept they can take just to get a chance out in the ring. But there's actually a lot of good characters in NXT.
Your product of NXT is a whole lot better too. And the reason why behind that is because Triple H is in charge of NXT.
Yep, 100%.
And so if you watch WWE and you don't keep up with NXT, if you're just Raw and SmackDown only and pay-per-views and stuff like that, or you're just pay-per-view person and you don't watch and you just keep up with Raw and SmackDown, and you don't know about NXT, it's Triple H's thing. Triple H is totally in charge. That means that Vince has nothing to do with it. Because if you have frustrations with the storylines and the regular WWE programming, NXT is where you need to be looking at, because Vince has nothing to do with the storylines. Because a lot of wonky stuff that you see in WWE that people get mad about, it's really Vince's fault. Whenever Vince dies and Triple H becomes in charge of WWE, it's going to be perfect, because you can tell that from NXT, because they put their takeover shows are way better than half of the pay-per-views that come out. Their storylines are good. Their wrestling is just great. It's fantastic. I mean, I can't wait to see what Triple H does with this 2-hour show.
And we're almost at the point that almost half of the current roster of WWE, SmackDown, and Raw, we're almost at the 50% mark that people have come from NXT.
It's pretty close.
Yeah,
I mean, even Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins and stuff, they started at NXT. Yep. I think it was before it was like it was when it was still the Florida Champion Wrestling, Ship Wrestling, when it was just the developmental brand and it wasn't like a NXT itself.
It wasn't an actual show. It was more like a local performance thing.
Yeah, but a lot of people, you're right. A lot of people have been at NXT, and it starts September 18th. It's a great day. It's my birthday that day. Zach, what you thinking, man? What do you think about this NXT move to 2-hour live show?
I mean, I guess it's smart on their part, because NXTs are pretty much their most popular brand right now. And I haven't really watched much of NXT, but I haven't really watched WWE too much in a long time. I was gonna start getting into the the other one. I forget what it's called.
AEW.
Yeah, I was gonna start looking at that because what I saw of that was pretty good. But yeah,
Yeah, I think this is a really smart move on WWE's part to get NXT live on Wednesdays the same day as AEW. To give, I mean, because AEW's coming in as competition, and so they know what they're doing. And I know that USA is paying them $50 million, and they're the ones that want this. But I mean, someone in WWE suckered them into doing this because this is a good move.
Yeah.
It's a great move.
I mean, they probably will get more than that the next time they sign a contract.
Yeah.
But
and NXT is the show to compete with AEW because, like I said, with Triple H doing it, I don't know how he got was able to do that. With how Vince allowed that to happen, to where his show comes on the same nights as Wednesday or same days as AEW. But that's good. That would be the show to put on.
Yeah, well, and not only that, it's AEW is growing. It's growing fast, and if WWE doesn't do something to shut that down, they're going to keep expanding as a brand.
For sure. We'll see what happens. So it's starting next month, and then AEW starts in October. So we'll see what happens in the next couple months. But we'll keep you informed though as it happens. So all right, guys. Next up, Matrix 4. It's happening. The rumors are no longer just rumors. It is for sure happening. Wachowskis, one of them is coming back. Neo's coming back. Trinity's coming back. I don't know how either of those two things are working. So pretty much most of the cast is coming back. I'm not for sure who all that entails, but they said that was the only two that I saw for sure. Keanu Reeves and what's that? Carrie Moss or whatever her name is.
There's also Lawrence Fishburne will probably not be in this movie. So I don't know how familiar anyone else is with it, but there was a Matrix video game that something Neo. I can't remember the name of it.
Wasn't Enter the Matrix?
Enter the Matrix, yeah. And in that, the Wachowskis have said that they consider that video game canon in the past. And in that game, Lawrence Fishburne character dies. He sacrifices himself to bring.
Didn't Trinity die in the third movie though?
At the end of the movie, yeah, she makes a sacrificing play, and sacrifices herself to the Sentinels while Neo's realizing his full ability of being connected to both the Matrix and the real world.
And I thought Neo's body got taken by some stuff at the end of the movie too.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm thinking is that if the Sentinels brought back Neo for the next movie, that's probably how they're going to tell the story, is that they intercepted the Nebuchadnezzar and brought them back, both of them. I think the best potential for the video game will be that if Lawrence Fishburne's character sacrificed himself in the game to bring Neo back, some other sacrifice could happen, or something could occur that Neo could figure out what he did to bring Trinity back.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm personally I'm leery about it. I just don't know, because the first Matrix was good. The second two Matrixes not so good. I mean, it's differing opinions, So I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna have to wait and see.
I've only seen the first one.
It's just like that famous red versus blue quote, that the in every end of days movie, there's always something that humans take for granted that winds up going missing, and it causes chaos. And in the first Matrix movie, the thing missing was the sun. In Matrix 2 and 3, the element that was missing was plot. But
nice. You said you only saw the first one, Zach?
Yeah.
Just not a fan, or?
I mean, I like the first one. I don't know. I just never watched it.
We'll just wait till the fourth movie comes out. And then I guess me or Ryan will watch it, and then we'll tell you if you should watch the second two, just to be able to watch the fourth one, or you should just not watch the fourth one either.
Well, if I have Unlimited, I'll probably just go in anyway.
Regal Unlimited, not sponsored. But anyways, all right. So moving on. So the Mortal Kombat reboot has cast Liu Kang, Raiden, Jax, and Melina, and I didn't write down all the actors' names, but I know that Raiden is played by the one of the people from the Thor movies, and the Jax is played by the guy who plays Jimmy Olsen on the Supergirl show. But this reboot's moving right along. Zach, you get more interested in it, or what?
I mean, I haven't really read too much on it, but yeah, I've always wanted like a new, up-to-date Mortal Kombat film. Like we got like a web series not so long, like a couple of years ago, which was pretty cool, and got me kind of hoping that they would make a theatrical film.
It was good. That was a good web series.
There was two different web series that came out. One of them was really freaking awesome, and it was not it was just a fan film. And then there was another web series that came out, and it was terrible shooting, but it was officially endorsed.
That was just one, because I thought they did one as there was like a small fan film, and then it was episodes they did as well.
There might there might have been.
I think it was the same people. I'm not for sure.
I think that might have been what happened, is that like the first thing was like not endorsed, and then Mortal Kombat was like, here, we'll give you some help kind of thing.
Yeah.
I can't exactly remember. Oh yeah, that's what it was, because whenever they first introduced Reptile, they brought him in as like that doctor who went crazy kind of thing, and then in the web series, they're like, no, you're not going to do that to Reptile. I remember that now. You're right.
Gotcha. I've been okay with it so far. I'm kind of leery about the Jax casting. I watched Supergirl, and Makad Brooks, I think is his name. I'm not for sure exactly how to say his first name. I just don't see him as Jax, and so that I'm kind of leery about that. And I don't think he's a bad actor. He just doesn't fit Jax to me. And if you've seen Supergirl, you would get it. So I just don't see him as Jax. And I don't know.
See Michael B. Jordan as Johnny Storm, but we got that anyway.
Then I don't know what you're talking about. That never happened. I don't know though. It's moving right along. We'll see though. That never happened, Ron. Don't ever say that again, or you're fired. But a little bit more of Mortal Kombat is the Mortal Kombat 11 Combat Pass. Finally added the last two fighters to the Combat Pass. Which we've already got Shang Tsung and Nightwolf, and we already knew we were getting Sindel and Spawn. Super excited about that. And there was two other people, and they announced it with a trailer yesterday, and it was Joker, the Joker, and then Terminator, the T-800 model. So, Zach, what did you think about those additions?
Pretty excited about Spawn. but of course they're gonna add Terminator because somehow they're getting all these fucking sponsors from video games. Like,
Terminator's in everything. Like
Oh,
Terminator's gonna be in Gears of War 5. He's gonna be in Mortal Kombat. He's just gonna be in. You're gonna see Arnold Schwarzenegger's face everywhere.
really trying to promote Dark Fate because I saw the picture and that's the same Terminator that's in Dark Fate, the older.
Oh yeah, with part of his face missing and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and the Joker that they're using, it appears to be modeled quite a bit off of Heath Ledger's take on the Joker.
To me, I have an opinion about that. Go ahead though.
I was just saying with the whole way that they had the makeup done and stuff like that. I didn't really particularly see the scars on his face, but the makeup patterns seem to be modeled. I was just gonna say it does not appear at all to be the Joker from Injustice.
No, to me, I don't know. Like, to me, it looks like cheap cosplay Joker. Like, I don't know. It just looks like some kid got his hair green, slicked it over. Like, even the hair doesn't even look. It looks weird. I mean, it doesn't.
it kind of looks like to me. It kind of looks like the cosplayer Harley Joker.
I don't think that it looks anything like that guy because that guy looks just like the animated series Joker, and I don't think that this cosplay looks anything like that because like the makeup looks like looks more like Heath Ledger's makeup.
Yeah, there's actually a joke running on the internet right now that the the Joker in Mortal Kombat looks just like a porn parody version of the Joker. Like if you look at side by sides, they look identical. It's been going all over the internet that
I'm gonna have to look that up now.
Yeah, it's crazy identical, and they're like, I'm pretty sure that they cast the porn version of Joker.
I don't really care too much about it anyway because I'm more interested in Spawn anyways out of all this combat pack. It's just that if you look on the dates at the we posted the thing on our page, and Spawn's it's coming out last, so we're not getting Spawn until March.
Yeah,
and I hate have to wait that long, so I'm not buying the combat pass until March. I'm not until I get Spawn. I don't care about anything else.
The last good game that Spawn was in was there was a Soul Calibur did a triple release.
Yeah, the when Soul Calibur, it was the Xbox had Spawn. The PS4 had
Yoda.
No, that was Soul Calibur 4 that had Yoda and Darth Vader. They had I can't remember who they had, but the Nintendo one had Link.
Yeah,
I can't remember who the PlayStation one was. That might have been Spawn. That was Spawn. I think the PlayStation one was Spawn, and the Xbox one was a Spartan from Halo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then that was Soul Calibur 3. And then Soul Calibur 4 had Darth Vader and Yoda.
Yeah,
that was it. Okay. I don't know.
But
What you say, Zach?
That was the last good time that Spawn had in a video game.
We need a good Spawn video game.
Yeah.
A new good Spawn movie.
Aren't they rebooting? Aren't they somebody making a Spawn movie?
It is. It's in the works.
Can they still use Michael J. White? Because he was fun.
He was. But I remember that there is a new Spawn movie coming out because John Leguizamo was like saying how he was not involved.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Cool. All right, guys. So if you're listening to the show and it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday of August, what's today? August 22nd? It's the 23rd, 4th, or 25th. Then you can join us, if you have a PS4, on the Call of Duty PS4 Alpha this Friday through Sunday, August 23rd through the 25th. And it's free to anyone with a PS4. You don't even have to have PS Plus. You just got to have a PS4 with internet connection. You don't have to pre-order Call of Duty Modern Warfare. That's the alpha for Modern Warfare. That's what we're talking about here. You just got to have a PlayStation, and you can download it. And right now, you can preload it, and it starts tomorrow. If you're a Central Time person, which a lot of us are, listeners here, it's noon Central, 1 o'clock if you're a Zach on the Eastern Time. 10 if you're in California, 10 a.m. tomorrow, California time. But yeah, it's the 2 versus 2 gunfight. That's the only mode that you'll be able to play. Super excited about it to be able to hop into this. I'm super ready to try this out. So on the 2 versus 2 gunfight, they give you random loadouts each time, and you play whoever wins the 5 rounds first wins. And as I said, each round you get a random loadout. Your weapons are randomized, so that's pretty cool. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for the game in general. But you can add me on PS4 at CK the Red Hood, and I'll let everyone else, whenever they talk about the game, give you their PS4 thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and live stream it some this weekend. Obviously, I won't be able to do it Saturday until later in the evening, because Blind Bandits start shooting on our next comedic short.
Cool. And your PS4 name is Porn Denim, right?
Torn, Torn.
Torn Denim.
Torn Denim.
So denim with a D, right? DENIM.
Yeah, that's it. Torn Denim.
It's Torn Venom.
But Porn Denim.
Porn Denim. It's not Torn Venom. TORNVENOM.
That's actually my username, but we'll go.
But you can add all those other ones if you want to. Who knows what kind of people you'll play with if you play with Porn Denim.
It's my username, neighbor.
Porn Venom. I'm sure they have a Venom porn out there. Zach, you excited for the alpha? Zach's my number 2. So.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. Seems like interesting mode. I don't think it's really been done before, has it? So,
Nope.
like just a 2 versus 2, so it looks pretty cool. And it seems like they're gonna have more interesting modes like that. So, yeah, I'm interested in trying it out, but unfortunately, I'm only gonna be able to play it Friday. So, yep.
But what's your username on the PlayStation there?
I don't remember.
It's Z-Bandit.
Oh yeah. I just wanted you to.
I should have just said all of ours at the beginning. I knew everybody's. I don't know why I just didn't say all of them. I don't know if Jeremiah's going to be playing, but if he happens to play, his PlayStation name is Papa Bojangles, and that's a Z at the end of Bojangles. Good luck with that. So I don't know if he'll play at all, but I'm.
Isn't it Scrody McBooger Balls?
That's his. He doesn't want anybody knowing that's his other one.
Also, that's another South Park reference for you. So.
Well, I mean, I'm supposed to get a list of South Park episodes to watch. I still have not received that yet.
I've been lazy. Said you're starting from season 10 anyway, so.
No, I said that once I reach season 10, I'm going to watch everything past that. But I need to watch all the episodes you want me to watch up to season 10.
Okay, alright, I'll get you a list. Damn.
Jesus God.
How many seasons have they had so far?
At least
They're
18.
They're on like 22,
Good God.
and it still hasn't gotten old, so shut the fuck up, Brian.
I mean, yeah, sure. Everybody likes to see cardboard moving around.
Cardboard?
Or, I don't even know what you're talking about.
What are you
Construction paper.
talking about?
Sorry, construction paper. Why I said cardboard.
Vapor, like a long ass time ago, they don't do that anymore.
Anyways, so this past week was Gamescom, not Gamescon. Gamescon, as I called it last week's episode, but Gamescom was this past week, and we got to see some looks at some games that we've already seen before at E3, and then some more in-depth looks, and then a couple of new games and stuff that got thing. There was a lot. Not gonna lie, there was a lot of stuff. And we're not going to be able to get to everything at Gamescom, but you can look up that information. A really easy thing to do. Just go to IGN.com. There's a little tab that says Gamescom, and you can click on it, and you can just go down and read all the news that you want. But we are going to talk about some of the games, but as I said, we're not going to be able to get into them all. The first thing we're going to talk about is Death Stranding. It's finally coming out in November, right? I believe it's November.
Sure.
Sure.
We'll go with that.
Sure, November. I honestly don't know what this game's about.
No one knows what this game is.
Because all I know is that you're Norman Reedus, and I was like, what's going on? He starts in a field, he's taking a piss. Like, apparently you can urinate in this game. I was like, what is going on? And then, like, it's just, like, walking up, and he, like, has this big, giant thing on his back, and pulls out a ladder, and... What?
Is it dick? Are you talking about?
No, his bag.
Well, you're just talking about him pissing, and then he said he
No, that's it. Then he's walking around with this giant thing on his back.
So I was like, what is penis?
I thought you said Nick, not Dick. I was like, what? What? I'm talking. I don't know what this game's about. It was really weird. Because then, like, he uses the ladder, climbs up this thing, and then there's a tent that says UCA, and apparently that's the United Cities of America. And then he goes in there and talks to someone, and then he's got some baby in his bag. I don't know what's going on.
Game. I'm sorry, Nick.
What?
This is your game that you have to buy. I'm not buying it.
I don't want to buy it.
Maybe if they release a demo, they need to release a demo because, like, I'm not just gonna flat out buy it.
People are excited about this game. It's like a huge deal, and I'm like, what is it about? I don't know what's going on.
It's only getting so much hype because of who's behind it. So,
what's the dude's name?
Everybody just calling it a walking simulator.
That's what I'm saying.
We just wanted a Silent Hill game, and then he got creative differences, and then he went to create Death Stranding.
I mean, maybe this might be the reason that Konami cut their ties with Kojima. Because it's weird, man. Like,
everybody's just on this game's dick because of who's making the game.
But I mean, it's dude. There was literally a scene that I saw of like a baby in like a pod.
That's the thing that he carries around. I was like, why does he have a baby? He's like, oh, how are you? Look at you. And I was like, the fuck is Norman Reedus just talking to this baby for? Like, is this Adventures in Babysitting Part 2? Like, what am I watching here? I don't know. We should make Jeremiah buy it.
Hey,
Then
play
I'm
this game for us. Tell us what it's about.
Yeah, just someone play this game and let me know what's going on here. I don't know. I haven't seen any info that lets me know about this game. It's very mysterious. I guess people are just excited because what Kojima or whatever his name is making it.
Yeah.
And then I guess they think he can do no wrong. So they're just like, oh, yes, he's making a new game. This is what we're playing. And because it's been so long since this game has been getting hyped up. Did someone just die? Like, what was that?
Nathan is playing a video game,
Oh.
and I'm gonna shut his door.
Okay.
He's getting really into it.
He is into that game. I don't have anything else to add to Death Stranding.
Move on.
Move on.
Said fuck that game. Let's move on.
Predator Hunting Grounds. Saw some gameplay trailer for it. Zach, did you catch it?
Yeah, pretty excited. Looks like it's gonna be like like one of those games like Dead by Daylight and stuff where
Like Friday the 13th.
yeah, on Friday the 13th, where one person plays as the Predator and then
4 people team up.
Marines or whatever.
Yeah.
Which we didn't get to see much from the Predator because it cut off once it switched from the Predator to the Predator pretty quickly.
Yeah, I don't think they're ready to show that yet.
I think it'd be cool though, because I mean, the Predator's pretty awesome. So, plus, I mean, I like that. I like that game concept, that 4 versus 1 thing. I mean,
There was
what
one
we
game that we played. What was that one that
Evolve.
we did? Evolve.
Yeah.
That was an interesting concept of the 4 versus 1 thing, and I mean, if somebody can finally find a way to perfect that, so that way it's not so lopsided, then I'm down for playing that. Like, it was Evolve was a lot of fun, but it was so one-sided. Because if you were good at doing the single player end, the having a team with you didn't matter, and if you were good at the co-op team, nobody could beat you as the single player. It's all about balance. If they can work out the balance of it, that style of game will be really fun.
Well, you haven't played Friday the 13th or Dead by Daylight, right?
I have not yet.
I've only played Dead by Daylight, and I've really enjoyed it. The times that we've played it, we haven't played it a whole lot. We should play that tomorrow. Zach, sorry, making plans here on the podcast. But I know that. Oh, speaking of Dead by Daylight, they're getting Stranger Things a pack where you could pick the Demogorgon, and Steve and Nancy are going to be survivors. Little tidbit there. But I'm excited about the Predator Hunting Grounds. I really like Predator, so I'm interested in see more about it. So I want to see how that Predator gameplay is going to be like. So, all right, moving on. This new game that I hadn't heard about until the Gamescom was Disintegration. Ryan, did you check this out? You got anything on this?
Let me make sure.
Maid's checking it out now.
Yes. So anyway, Disintegration, it looks like a cross between it's kind of like a first-person shooter and also a strategy game at the same time. It's kind of like Halo and Destiny and like there's more strategy involved and stuff, and it's just I'm not really for sure exactly too much
No.
about it.
See this one.
I know that. So basically, you're like a robot, and you got a team of robots, and it's also kind of like Ghost Recon because you can like command the other robots that are with you, and have them do commands. But as I said, it's first person, and I know that the reason why it's called disintegration is because so basically what's going on is that these robots get integrated into this mother system basically, and so your robot and your group is kind of like rebels, and so they're against the integration. That's why it's called disintegration. That's far as story wise that I know about it. It looks pretty interesting though. I mean, it didn't look like bad gameplay or anything. I guess I would need to see more. I feel like it will fall in the cracks though, but we'll have to wait and see because I'm not for sure when the game comes out.
Yeah.
Zach, did you look into it?
Yeah, I watched a little bit of the trailer. It looks alright from what I saw. I guess, like you said, I would just have to see some more.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't look bad. I haven't seen anything that I've seen bad. I just need more information. But I mean, as I said, I believe it was revealed at Gamescom, so I mean, it makes sense that we don't know too much about it.
Yeah.
Ryan, we're just gonna skip past that one, okay?
Okay.
Cool. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, which we've talked about it before, on the show, maybe a couple times, and at Gamescom, we got to see that the Cell Saga is going to be played out in this game. That's really what we learned from Gamescom, and so you get to be young Gohan, and you get to fight against Cell, and that's pretty cool. I mean, that's a lot of people's favorite fight in the series, so I thought that was really exciting. Also got confirmed that Future Trunks is going to be playable in the game with the sword and everything. So I'm really excited about that. The more I see about this game, the more excited I get about the game. I don't know about you other two, but just as time has went on, I'm really excited about this game. So of course we're all pretty big fans of the Dragon Ball series. So I mean, I think we're all pretty excited about it, anyways. So I'm pumped.
It'll be nice to have a Dragon Ball Z game that's not just focused on, it's not just a fighter. Like, it actually has storyline and stuff, and I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
I mean, Xenoverse.
Oh yeah, but I mean, this is that they're revisiting an older storyline, and
revisit storylines.
Was
okay.
the Cell Saga in Xenoverse?
I believe so.
I don't know. I don't know if I got that far in the Xenoverse.
I remember fighting those. Yeah, I remember fighting Cell and those stupid blue little munchkin things.
Oh, the Cell Juniors.
I don't know. I kind of wish they would just do something different because, like, they've already done this, and I feel like we've already played some of that stuff, and we've all seen the Cell Saga, and we already all know what happened. So I mean, I don't really understand what the point is, to be honest.
Yeah. It would have been cool if instead of doing that, if they had done a Dragon Ball Super game. I mean, because that's stuff we haven't played yet.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have been different.
Yeah, I just would rather have something different or like an original storyline rather than going back and playing through storylines that everybody already knows.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Good playing devil's advocate there. Good job. All right. Are we good to move on then?
Yeah.
All right. Darksiders Genesis, which, that was one of the games that we correctly guessed of getting announced at E3 when we predicted that going to be announced. And it got happen. It happened. It's a top-down. I don't know what you actually call that style of game.
Hack and slash.
Yeah, it's like more zoomed out than what Marvel Ultimate Alliance would be. But I mean, basically, it looks like hack and slash going through hell, I guess. I'm not for sure. I mean, I just saw the trailer. I didn't really see any info of like who you're playing as. Is it generic people or what? So I'm assuming this is before the like Darksiders game because it's Genesis. So I'm guessing this is beginning.
I guess so. Yeah.
Anybody else got any info on it, or is this about it?
I will be 100% honest and say what I said earlier. I'm not a huge fan of hack and slash games. They get boring to me, and so I didn't really look that much into the game.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't really into the Darksiders games in general, but I know they had a strong fan base of people. So I just wanted to make sure that we did at least mention that for the fan base out there. If you're a fan of Darksiders games, this may be something you may be interested in. It's different gameplay than the 3 Darksiders games. So maybe look into that and check it out. Darksiders Genesis. Next game here is Blair Witch, which we have talked about before. Still don't know too much about this game. It was a gameplay trailer that they released at Gamescom, and I found out that it actually releases next Friday. So I didn't know that. So there's 2 horror games coming out next Friday. I will say that the first trailer that we had seen, the teaser trailer, I was really wondering if that camera, the video camera, was going to be such a big integral part of the thing, And I noticed that in this trailer that I only saw that camera like a couple times. So a lot of times I didn't see the video camera. So I don't think that it's going to be as big of a deal as like it is in Outlast 2. I don't know if it was the video camera was in Outlast 1 because I haven't played that one.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, but you basically had to use that thing a bunch, and so
I'm definitely gonna play this one.
You're gonna play this one?
Yeah, it looked really good. The Blair Witch movie was the very first rated R movie that I got to watch, and I had to sneak to watch that. And I didn't get to see it until about 5 years after it came out. But it was the first rated R movie I got to see, and the gameplay trailers and stuff like that I've seen, and the just the regular trailers and stuff, it looks like it's going to be a really interesting storyline. So I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna get it.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely probably gonna check it out. It seems like a creepy game, and right now I'm on this horror kick. So, yeah, I'm probably gonna check it out. Zach, what about you, man?
Yeah, I like those style of horror games, so I'll definitely give it a look.
Cool. All right, so the last game from Gamescom that we're going to talk about is Marvel's Avengers. I'm really, really excited about this one, and got to see more gameplay from it and more info from it. And so, Zach, you want to talk about this one first?
Yeah, I already think I've seen this footage already.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said I've seen this pretty much already from the leaked footage. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty excited for the game. I pretty much said all my thoughts on it. I don't really have too much else to say about it.
Yeah. Ryan, did you check it out or? Ryan, you sound like you're in a tunnel, man.
I got to see the gameplay.
You sound like you're in a tunnel, Ryan.
I still sound
Yep. Get out of the tunnel. You sound like you're buried under a tunnel.
Sound
Yeah.
like you're buried under a tunnel in a car while being choked to death by Freddy Krueger.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, excellent. There you go, man. Go on.
It was really cool being able to see more characters and their gameplay styles and stuff like that. They did more in-depth footage of Black Widow, Hulk, Thor, I think someone else, but
Captain America.
yeah, and you really got to see how each character has a totally different play style, and it's really cool that they're swapping back and forth in between characters to advance the storyline. That's something you rarely see done in video games like that. But that looked like it was going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. The info that I've seen, I really can't wait. Really, I want to play as Thor the most, I think, because for one, they have the combat director from the God of War PS4, the new one. They have the creative, not combat director from that game on this game, and you can really tell that in the Thor gameplay. It reminded me a lot of God of War, just the way he moves and has the hammer and stuff, because it reminded me of Kratos' axe from that game. And I'm really excited for that. A lot of the other people's gameplay, like Black Widow and Captain America and stuff, it reminds me a lot about Uncharted and a lot of the gameplay that I saw in different ones. And so that I'm kind of excited about that as well, because I mean Uncharted games are cool, and the Hulk had some wall running and stuff. So I didn't see too much of the Hulk's new gameplay. So, but I'm really excited. I know that some things that they said. Now, here's a little bit of more gameplay details from this game. So, what happens is what we've seen footage so far is a prologue. It's set 5 years in the past. Then the big thing happens, and a lot of people die, apparently, including supposedly Captain America, who apparently comes back in a way. Supposedly, I don't know, is what they said. So this game is set 5 years after that. The main game is, and vigilantes, superheroes are like outlawed now because they got blamed for all this people dying and stuff. So they've all like separated and stuff. I saw Tony Stark with like long hair and a beard and stuff. At one point in some footage, and so you got to get AIM, which is advanced ideal mechanics or something like this. Zach, I don't know what AIM stands for exactly.
I don't know.
Something like that. Anyway, AIM, they're bad people, but somehow they convince the world that the superheroes are to blame, and they're kind of like taking over, and they're evil and stuff. But they're posing as good people, and so you got to get the Avengers back together. And I don't know if there's gonna be a Phil Coulson who does this. I don't know. And you got to take them out. And so I know that there's going to be two types of missions. Like, so you have like a war zone missions, and you have hero missions, because you're going to have like this little base where you can pick your missions, and it's not like an open world. It's called an expansive world that they do, because you can pick. It's kind of like in a Destiny type thing where you can pick if you want to do the storyline missions, which they're called hero missions, and then the war zone missions, and in the war zone missions, which are I said they're more Destiny-like, and you can pop in those, and you can get 3 friends. So if only I had 3 friends that I could play this game with, and the 4 of you hop in the game, and you each get an Avenger or whoever you want to be, whichever superhero you want to be. You hop in there, and you can do the missions co-op wise, the Warzone missions. So I'm excited about that. They didn't talk more about the co-op besides that. All I know is that for some reason it's not going to be 5-player co-op, which made no sense seeing as there was 5 Avengers they showed off. But it's going to be 4-player co-op, which is strange. But they said that the co-op, more talks about that'll be later on down the road. But out of Gamescom, I think Marvel's Avengers was my favorite one. So
favorite, just based off of what was trending after.
Yeah, I'm excited for May of next year. So that'll be probably the last game that I buy for this current generation. I bet. I mean, that's what I imagine will be the last game that we play this current generation, since I know the new Xbox comes out next year, next fall. So I'm sure the next PS5 will probably come out then as well. So
yeah.
Marvel's Avengers will be the last big hurrah for this console generation, and I'm ready for it. So, what about you guys? You guys ready? You guys ready for it?
I'm definitely curious into seeing more about Project Scarlet. Man, if it does the things that they say it's gonna do, I might actually buy a console again.
Nice, that's good. Last bit of news, and we're just coming full circle here. And we're talking the Sony and Disney ending their partnership. Who wants to start us off on this?
Okay. I've done a lot of research on this, but I will be happy to let anybody else go first.
Zach, you want to talk?
What were we talking about?
Sony and Disney ending their partnership. We're closing out the show with this stuff. This is coming full circle on the episode.
We're not talking about the boycotts anymore. We're talking about the actual business end of it.
The actual business end of it.
I mean, I think it's really kind of on Disney, just kind of wanting that Disney money and being sort of greedy. I mean, I understand that they're kind of the reasons that the new Spider-Man franchise is making $1 billion, and because it's in the MCU and all that, and they wanted like 50% or something. I don't know. Like I think they're getting like 5% now, which 5% of like what $1 billion, that's still a lot of fucking money. So
to clarify on that, they were making 5% of first day ticket sales. That's it. Just to clarify.
And so they asked for 50-50 on that stuff. And Sony wouldn't even listen to them. And then they actually brought this is getting overlooked, but they actually said that they would do 70-30. But Sony wouldn't even counter their offer at all. They just wanted it to stay 5%. Now, I can understand where people you can say Disney's greedy or whatever. I mean, that's understandable, right? I mean, I get it. Okay. Yeah. Disney can get greedy, I guess, in a sense. All right. But I feel like 5% is kind of low when you think about what they've done. I mean, not only is the Spider-Man reached over $1 billion. You're on mute, by the way, Ryan, just letting you know. I don't know if you want to be Not only did Sony reach over $1 billion with the Spider-Man movie, but it was the first Sony movie in general to reach over $1 billion. You know, and that just means something to me, I think. And if you look up the money, which I didn't look up like Spider-Man 1 or Spider-Man 3 or the Amazing Spider-Man 1 or whatever like this, but Spider-Man 2, which is by a lot of people's standards the best one out of the Sam Raimi trilogy, and then I looked at the Amazing Spider-Man movies. Those movies only made like $700 million each, not like all together, but each one of them made about $700 million overall, right? So Disney, because of Disney, do you think that without Disney, do you think that Sony would have made that same amount of money that they made? Zach?
Hello?
Yeah,
Hi.
Zach, can you hear me? Does anybody, but I mean, I just feel like Sony wouldn't have made this amount of money that they did if it wasn't for Disney. And I feel like 5% is a little low. I mean, I understand that, Sony, you can say Disney wanting more money is greedy, but at the same time, I mean, I feel like they earned a little more than 5%.
Especially while Disney is giving characters that they own on lease to Sony. I mean,
the first one had Iron Man was in the movies, and not to say the first two, those Spider-Man Homecoming and Far From Home, their villains, Vulture and Mysterio, both had bones to pick with Tony Stark.
Yep.
Their whole villain storyline had to do with the MCU stuff.
Yeah. And that means also you're not going to be able to have any SHIELD agents or anything like that. Like, you're not going to have any of that. So, like I said, I've done quite a bit of research into this particular subject. And so I don't think that Sony is like fully to blame, or if they're the bad guy here or anything like that. There was an interview that was done last night with Stan Lee's daughter, and Stan Lee's daughter has taken Sony's side on this, pretty much saying that Disney disrespected Stan Lee so much. And she reveals quite a bit of things. From a fan perspective, I want to continue seeing Spider-Man in the MCU. I hope that they can try and renegotiate and get something worked out. And in the long run, I feel like it will happen. But I understand both sides. I understand Disney wanting more, especially for using their characters and intertwining him into their universe that they've built. But I also understand Sony's stake on it. Like, this is a property that they have fought hard to hold on to because they knew that it had potential. They just haven't used it to its potential.
Did you know that, sorry, just to add on to that, did you know in that deal that they said the 50% of the profit, that Disney also was going to do 50% of the co-financing the movie?
Yeah.
The production cost and splitting, and not only would they just didn't want just the profits, they were going to put up half the production cost of the movie as well. I didn't see that.
Yeah, and Sony with the Disney money, the third Spider-Man movie would be limitless pretty much. But I mean, Sony was they were kind of on the edge of even doing this to begin with, And it's I what the main thing that I don't appreciate about this whole situation is Disney saying, "Hey, this is our agreement," and then Disney saying, "Nope, we want to change our agreement. And if you don't meet our terms, you can't use our stuff anymore." And that's kind of shysty that Disney has kind of backed them into a corner like that. And I want Sony to stand their ground in the sense of make Disney do what they said they were going to do. Sony has upheld their end of the bargain so far, whether it was a good bargain or not. Sony has upheld their end. And like we were saying earlier, the whole boycott Sony thing, we don't all know the whole thing. Like, we know what has been said, what's been rumored.
And I ain't boycotting Disney either, just let everybody know. I'm getting Disney Plus when it comes out, just let you know.
Yeah, it's impossible to boycott Disney. But man, it's just it really sucks from the fan perspective of seeing everything caught up in this. Like, it's I don't know. It's just a nasty thing going on.
It's a nasty divorce. That's what it is. It's divorce.
And
But I think we should also look at the positives on this, though. We're focusing a lot on the negative and who's to blame and stuff like that, but we also need to focus on some of the positive. If this does happen, what can happen from this is Sony can fully integrate Spider-Man into their other properties that they're working on, such as the big thing here is Venom.
Yeah.
We can have Spider-Man be in the Venom movies, Venom in the Spider-Man movie, and because that would be like spectacular. That'd be good. That would be the good thing to take from that is this. If this divorce happens for sure, is that we can get Spider-Man into the Venom 2 movie, and then we can have Venom where eventually it becomes with the white spider symbol on it. We can have Venom could be the way he's supposed to be.
Yes. And also with that, it forces Sony to have to explore the other Spider-Man storylines instead of doing the whole Spider-Man is the young Ward and the next Iron Man. He, in a sense, would be the next Iron Man because he would be leading up his own situations instead of reliant on the others. But it's this is going to eliminate Happy. It's going to eliminate Start Tech. It's going to eliminate so many different things that were core to the storylines. It's going to pull them back out.
But I don't think that's necessarily a bad deal, though, because as I said, though, I don't see necessarily anything too bad on with Sony's part of it. It's really bad on Disney's part. Disney's the one that's going to miss out, seeing as they wanted to build the MCU on Spider-Man, And I really think that it's going to be kind of weird to make the third movie now, and a lot of the plot stuff from the first two movies can't be addressed at all, and so they just got to act like Happy never existed, which they kind of like. I don't guess Aunt May and Happy kind of like broke up in a sense. So I mean, he's got to be without Start Tech. They can make it work, but I think it's also good because you can have these spin-off movies that they're wanting to do, like Venom. Then they're doing Morbius, Craven. They're want to do a Craven movie, a Black Cat and Silver Sable movie. They can have integration of Spider-Man in these movies, and we would just see these movies from the villain's point of view, but they would also be able to do what they're supposed to do, and that's interact with Spider-Man and they can interact. We can see their setup in origin movies. Those movies would become like origin movies. Then they can have interactions with Spider-Man in the Spider-Man movie.
Yeah. And who knows, they might just hold off the Spider-Man movie for a while and focus on having Tom Holland in those other movies.
I mean, they could do that too. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. Zach, you want to add anything?
No.
No, man of little words. But it's just we could be sitting here talking about it this week, and this is the way it looks this week, and then next week it can be something completely different. I mean, just because
I have a pretty good feeling that on Monday some big news is going to release that either tells us quite a bit more about what's really happening behind the scenes, or that they made an agreement.
if you stop seeing news like today and tomorrow and stuff about it, and you don't see anything else from any camp or anything like that mentioned at all, just know that there's talks going on. There's probably talks going on right now anyways. But just because that they have both put out, Sony's put out that press release and stuff, and that the partnership has officially ended, does not mean that it will be ended next week.
Yeah.
Because at one time, Disney and Disney buying Fox was over as well. And Disney wasn't going to be able to buy Fox. And then what happened? Disney ended up buying Fox.
Yeah. I have a good feeling that Kevin Feige is gonna go back to the drawing board, get frustrated, and then finally say, "Do whatever it takes," kind of thing.
Whatever it takes. But since you said Kevin Feige, I really think that what in their press release from Sony where they said that Kevin Feige probably just has too much on his plate. I felt like that was a BS comment, and I really just felt like I
think it was more along the lines of Kevin Feige was sending other people to represent him in the meetings, and Sony was getting fed up. It's like, we don't want to talk to you anymore. You gave us this offer, that's not the offer we want. We want to speak to Kevin himself, and Kevin didn't have time to go to any of the meetings, or didn't want to. And
I think there was some shade being thrown there for some reason or another from somebody, and that just felt like some shade being thrown, because I really feel like Kevin Feige has enough time to deal with Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, and I think that's where the shade was being thrown, is that Kevin Feige himself is not communicating with Sony. And so Sony just said, "Oh, Kevin Feige's too busy for us," kind of thing.
Yeah, because they said that he has too much to deal with something that he doesn't own, and that's not true. So it was. I think that was definitely shade being thrown. But yeah. But who knows, guys? Who knows what's gonna happen? Don't count your chickens till they hatch.
We'll have more on this story next Thursday.
Join us next week for a new episode of Good Stuff Podcast, where we'll find out if this partnership is still ended or not. Yeah. All right. Well, that wraps up the show. Anybody else have anything else they want to add?
I'll see you later.
Cool. So, if you like our Facebook page, you saw where we posted the first page of the Vengeance Emergence comic book of the first issue. We posted the first page. So if you haven't checked that out, you can find that, and you can also find the character sketches for the series. And so we've gotten some good responses to people. I personally had like 3 or 4 people within 30 minutes message me and be like, "I can't wait to read. That page looks awesome." It was just literally just one page. So, if you're into comic books or superheroes in general, you should check that page out, and can't wait to be able to share that comic book with you. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Blind Bandit Productions, Instagram, Blind Bandit Productions, YouTube.com, Blind Bandit Productions, and then Twitter, it's Zach, what's that?
BBP for real.
That's the number 4, right? BBP for real. We verified ourselves on the Twitter there. So
We got a blue check mark and everything.
we don't have a blue check mark.
That's what verified means. What are you talking about?
We should get a blue check mark. How do you do that? Ryan, get a blue check mark. You can do all the kinds of stuff, right?
Yeah. Okie dokie.
Get us a Facebook blue check mark.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, but listen to us on all the different platforms you can listen to us on, like iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and of course Podbean. Leave us a review on iTunes and our Facebook page. Let us know what we're doing wrong. Let us know what we're doing right. Let us know if you want us to talk about something. If you do something entertainment-wise, you want us to promote you, like our good buddy Freddie Lane. We promote all his. He just put out a new music video, and his next 4 months of Freddie mixtape will be coming out September 1st, and so be on the lookout for that as we post that link on September 1st on the Facebook page for Blind Bandit Productions. Shout out to our boy Freddie Lane, and shout out to Jeremiah. We miss you, buddy, and yeah, thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next week. #good stuff.